The internet just exploded over something wild that went down at the Grammys after-party, and honestly, you're not going to believe the drama that unfolded when Benny Blanco showed up at the same event as Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber. If you love pop culture chaos and want to stay in the loop with all the messiest celebrity tea, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we're diving deep into the situation, and trust me, you're going to want to hear every single detail of what actually happened. This story has more twists and turns than a roller coaster, and the fan reactions alone are enough to keep you glued to your screen for the next several minutes. So here's the deal. Reports started flooding in yesterday that Benny Blanco was spotted at the same Grammy after-party where Justin and Hailey Bieber were celebrating, and Selena Gomez fans absolutely lost their minds over it. Some people are calling it a betrayal, while others are insisting the whole thing is fake news and that Benny wasn't even there. I went down a serious rabbit hole investigating every corner of the internet to find out what really went down, and I've got all the receipts to show you exactly what happened that night. The amount of detective work that went into uncovering the truth about this party is honestly insane, but someone had to do it because the conflicting reports were driving everyone crazy. First things first, let's talk about what we know for sure. Hailey and Justin definitely attended the after-party, and they were photographed living it up with Billie Eilish and other major celebrities. The photos that came out from the event showed them looking absolutely gorgeous and clearly having the time of their lives. Justin was dressed casually but still looked put together, and Hailey was serving looks as always with her impeccable style that somehow manages to make even the simplest outfits look runway ready. They were mingling with the biggest names in music, and the vibe of the party seemed electric based on all the snippets that leaked out on social media. But here's where things get interesting. I started digging through social media posts, magazine articles, and exclusive party coverage to see if Benny Blanco was actually there, and what I found is going to settle this debate once and for all. The investigation took me through countless Instagram stories, Twitter threads, and fashion magazine websites. People were posting conflicting information left and right, and it seemed like nobody could agree on whether Benny was actually at this party or if it was just a rumor that got out of control. Some fans were adamant that there was no way he would show up to an event where Justin and Hailey were present, while others claimed they had solid proof he was there. I discovered that a major fashion magazine wrote an entire article about the exclusive Grammy after-party hosted at a celebrity hotspot, and in that article they specifically mentioned both Justin Bieber and Benny Blanco. They even posted photos of both of them from the same event on their official Instagram account. The party was hosted by a famous creative director, and it was one of the most exclusive gatherings of the night, so basically half of Hollywood's elite were crammed under one roof. The evidence is right there in black and white, posted by a credible source, so anyone saying they weren't at the same party is simply wrong. The magazine's Instagram post included a carousel of images from the night, and if you swipe through, you can clearly see both Justin and Benny in separate photos from the same event. The venue itself was apparently Bar Marmont, which is known for hosting some of the most exclusive celebrity events in Los Angeles. This isn't just any random club or restaurant. This is the kind of place where you need to be on a very special list to even get past the front door. The party was co-hosted by a luxury fashion brand, which explains why everyone who was anyone in the entertainment industry showed up. We're talking about a guest list that read like a who's who of the music world, with Grammy nominees, winners, and industry executives all gathered in one place to celebrate music's biggest night. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Why are people so upset about this? Some fans are acting like Benny committed some unforgivable crime by attending the same party as his girlfriend's ex and his wife. But let's be real for a second. This was a Grammy after-party, and both Benny Blanco and Selena Gomez were Grammy nominees this year. He had every right to be there celebrating his achievements. It's not like he was slow dancing with Justin or doing karaoke duets with Hailey. He was simply existing in the same space as them, which is what adults do when they work in the same industry. The outrage seems completely disproportionate to what actually happened, which was essentially nothing. The comments section on social media has been absolutely wild. People are writing entire dissertations about why Benny should or shouldn't have attended this party. Some fans are saying he should have skipped it out of respect for Selena, while others are pointing out that he's his own person with his own career and he shouldn't have to avoid events just because his girlfriend's ex might be there. The debate has gotten so heated that fan accounts are actually fighting with each other over this situation. Some Selena fans are calling Benny a traitor and saying he's being disrespectful, while his supporters are defending his right to attend industry events without restriction. The truth is that these four people are all part of the music world, and they're going to end up at the same events whether people like it or not. Benny Blanco is a successful producer and artist in his own right. He doesn't need to hide or avoid places just because his girlfriend's ex might be there. That's actually a sign of maturity and confidence, not disrespect. Some people are way too immature to handle being in the same room as their exes or their partner's exes, but that doesn't mean everyone else should operate that way. The music industry is actually not that big when you get to the upper echelons of success, and these people are bound to cross paths at award shows, parties, studio sessions, and various industry functions throughout the year. Think about it logically for a moment. Benny Blanco has worked with some of the biggest names in music. He's produced hits for artists across multiple genres and has been nominated for numerous awards throughout his career. His work speaks for itself, and he's earned his place at these exclusive events through years of hard work and dedication to his craft. Should he really have to sacrifice his professional networking opportunities and celebration moments just because there might be some awkwardness with people from his girlfriend's past? That doesn't seem fair or reasonable when you really break it down. Here's something else that's interesting. Benny Blanco still follows both Justin and Hailey on social media, while Selena doesn't follow either of them. There were rumors that Justin and Benny used to be really close friends before Benny started dating Selena, and that Justin unfollowed Benny after they got together. But Benny keeping them on his follow list suggests he's not holding any grudges or feeling threatened by the situation. Meanwhile, Hailey's father actually follows Selena on social media, which shows that not everyone is caught up in the drama the way fans are. This whole social media following situation is actually quite telling about where everyone stands emotionally with the whole situation. The fact that Benny still follows both of them could mean a few different things. It might mean that he genuinely doesn't feel threatened by Justin's history with Selena and is confident enough in his relationship to not worry about it. It could also mean that he's trying to keep things civil and mature because he knows they all run in the same circles professionally. Or maybe he just doesn't think that much about social media follows and doesn't see the point in making a big statement by unfollowing people. Whatever the reason, it definitely shows a level of emotional maturity that a lot of people in similar situations don't have. On the flip side, Justin reportedly unfollowing Benny after he started dating Selena is also interesting. Some people think this proves that Justin still has feelings for Selena and couldn't handle seeing his former friend dating his ex-girlfriend. Others argue that Justin simply wanted to create healthy boundaries and didn't want to see constant updates about Selena's new relationship in his feed. There's also the possibility that Hailey asked him to unfollow Benny to avoid any awkwardness or discomfort. We'll probably never know the real reason unless one of them decides to address it publicly, but it definitely adds another layer to this whole situation. The dynamic with Hailey's father following Selena is perhaps one of the most fascinating aspects of this entire web of relationships. Stephen Baldwin following Selena on social media suggests that there might not be as much animosity between these camps as fans like to imagine. It could be that he respects Selena as an artist and person, or maybe he's just one of those people who follows a lot of celebrities without thinking too deeply about it. Either way, it shows that the adults involved in this situation are probably handling things much more maturely than their respective fan bases are. People keep asking when these four will end up in the same place at the same time, and honestly, it's probably going to happen more often as time goes on. There's speculation that Selena didn't attend the Grammys specifically to avoid running into Justin and Hailey, and she was spotted in New York instead of at the ceremony. But at some point, if she keeps getting nominated for major awards, she's going to have to show up and claim her seat at these events. She deserves to be there celebrating her accomplishments regardless of who else is in the room. Her absence from the Grammys was definitely noticed by fans and industry insiders alike, and many people commented on the fact that she chose not to attend despite being nominated. Selena being in New York during the Grammys could have been for a variety of reasons. She might have had work commitments there, or perhaps she genuinely just didn't feel like making the trip to Los Angeles for the ceremony. But given the timing and the fact that Justin and Hailey were definitely going to be there, it's hard not to wonder if she made a strategic decision to avoid a potentially awkward encounter. Some fans praised her for this choice, saying she was protecting her peace and mental health by not putting herself in an uncomfortable situation. Others criticized her for letting her ex's presence dictate whether or not she attends major industry events where she's being honored. The reality is that Selena has worked incredibly hard on her music career, and she deserves to be present at award shows when she's nominated. She shouldn't have to miss out on these moments just to avoid seeing people from her past. At the same time, nobody can force her to attend events where she doesn't feel comfortable, and if staying away helps her maintain her emotional well-being, then that's a valid choice too. It's a complicated situation with no easy answers, and ultimately it's her decision to make about how she wants to handle these scenarios. The whole situation really makes you think about how we project our own insecurities onto celebrities. Just because some people can't handle mature interactions with their exes doesn't mean everyone operates that way. Benny Blanco clearly has nothing to hide and nothing to fear. He's confident in his relationship with Selena, and he's not going to let ancient history dictate where he can and can't go. The fact that he showed up to that party knowing Justin and Hailey would be there actually shows a lot of strength and self-assurance. He's basically saying that he's not intimidated by Justin's past with Selena and that he's secure enough in his own relationship to not worry about being in the same room as her ex. This kind of confidence is actually really attractive and shows emotional maturity. A lot of people in new relationships feel threatened by their partner's exes and try to control situations to avoid any contact with them. But Benny seems to understand that Selena's past is just that, her past, and it doesn't have any bearing on their current relationship. He's choosing to live his life, attend the events he wants to attend, and not let other people's presence dictate his choices. That's a healthy approach to relationships and shows that he's not operating from a place of insecurity or jealousy. Of course, we don't know exactly how Selena feels about Benny attending this party. She might have been completely fine with it and even encouraged him to go and have a good time. Or there might have been a conversation beforehand where they discussed whether it would be weird for him to go. Healthy couples communicate about these kinds of things and make decisions together about how to handle potentially awkward situations. We're just speculating from the outside based on limited information, but the fact that they're still together and seem happy suggests that they're handling this situation in whatever way works best for them. Let's also talk about the fashion choices at this party because that's worth discussing too. Benny showed up in what can only be described as ultra-casual attire. He was wearing a hoodie that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent, paired with other designer pieces that were styled to look effortless and laid back. This is very much in line with current fashion trends where looking like you don't care is actually a carefully curated aesthetic that requires a lot of money and effort to pull off correctly. The whole vibe is very 90s inspired, with oversized silhouettes and comfortable pieces taking precedence over formal, fitted clothing. This casual luxury trend is everywhere in Hollywood right now. Celebrities are showing up to exclusive events in hoodies, sneakers, and baggy pants that cost thousands of dollars but look like they could have been picked up at a thrift store. It's an interesting phenomenon because it's simultaneously accessible looking while being completely inaccessible to regular people due to the price tags attached to these items. A hoodie might look simple, but when it's from a luxury designer and costs several $1,000s, it's definitely not something the average person can afford. The contrast between this casual style and the more traditional formal wear that used to dominate these events is striking. 20 or 30 years ago, everyone at a Grammy after-party would have been dressed to the nines in suits, gowns, and cocktail dresses. Now you're just as likely to see someone in jeans and a t-shirt as you are to see someone in formal attire. The fan dynamics around these four people are absolutely fascinating from a psychological perspective. Selena's fans, often called Selenators, are fiercely protective of her and view anyone who they perceive as hurting or disrespecting her as the enemy. Justin's fans, known as Beliebers, have their own strong opinions about the situation and often defend Justin and Hailey against criticism. Then you have people who ship Justin and Selena together and refuse to accept that they've both moved on with other people. These different fan groups clash constantly on social media, arguing about who's right, who's wrong, and what everyone's motives are. The tribalism of fan culture means that people often can't see these situations objectively. They're so invested in their favorite celebrity that they interpret every action through the lens of defending and supporting that person, even when it means attacking others or ignoring obvious facts. In this case, some fans are so determined to paint Benny as the villain that they're willing to deny photographic evidence that he was at the party, or they're twisting the situation to make it seem like he did something wrong when he really didn't. That kind of bias makes it hard to have reasonable conversations about what actually happened. At the end of the day, this is all much ado about nothing. Half of Hollywood was at this party. It was a massive celebration with hundreds of people, and the chances of Benny even interacting with Justin or Hailey were probably pretty slim. Everyone needs to take a deep breath and remember that these are all successful adults who can handle themselves in social situations. The drama only exists because people on the internet want it to exist. If you loved hearing about this wild situation and want more celebrity tea delivered straight to you, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on the latest entertainment news. The bigger picture here is that the music industry is a small world at the top levels, and people who achieve a certain level of success are inevitably going to keep running into each other at events, award shows, parties, and industry functions. That's just the reality of how this world works. If people let past relationships and old drama prevent them from attending important events or celebrating their achievements, they're only hurting themselves. The mature approach is to acknowledge that things might be a little awkward sometimes, but to show up anyway and conduct yourself with grace and professionalism. Benny Blanco has built an impressive career for himself, and he deserves to celebrate his success without having to worry about who else might be in the room. His production work has been featured on countless hit songs, and he's collaborated with some of the biggest names in music. He's earned his spot at these exclusive industry events through talent and hard work, and no amount of internet drama should take that away from him. The same goes for Justin, Hailey, and Selena. They've all achieved incredible things in their respective careers, and they all deserve to enjoy the fruits of their labor without constant scrutiny and judgment. The constant speculation about these people's private lives and relationships has to be exhausting for them. Every move they make is analyzed and dissected by millions of people who think they know what's best for celebrities they've never met. Every social media post is screenshotted and shared with commentary about what it might mean. Every public appearance is documented and discussed endlessly. That level of attention would be overwhelming for anyone, and it's a testament to their resilience that they're able to continue living their lives and pursuing their passions despite all the noise. It's worth remembering that we only see a tiny fraction of these people's lives. We see what they choose to share on social media, what paparazzi manage to capture, and what makes it into news articles and gossip columns. We don't see the private conversations, the personal struggles, the moments of doubt and vulnerability that every human experiences. We don't know what agreements or understandings exist between these four people about how they'll handle encounters and navigate their shared social circles. We're making assumptions based on incomplete information, and those assumptions are often colored by our own biases and experiences. The truth is that Selena, Benny, Justin, and Hailey probably have a much more nuanced and complex understanding of their situation than any of us ever will. They're the ones living it, experiencing the emotions, and making the decisions about how to move forward. Our opinions from the outside don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. What matters is that they're all doing what they feel is right for themselves and their relationships. If that means attending the same parties sometimes and being cordial when they cross paths, then that's their choice to make. Looking at this situation from a distance, it actually seems like everyone involved is handling things pretty well. There haven't been any public blow-ups or dramatic confrontations. Nobody's posting cryptic messages on social media clearly directed at the others. There's no evidence of anyone trying to sabotage anyone else's career or relationships. From what we can see, everyone's just living their lives, doing their work, and trying to be happy. That's actually a really healthy way to handle a complicated situation, and it shows maturity from all parties involved. The fact that this is even considered news or drama says more about our culture's obsession with celebrity relationships than it does about the actual people involved. We're so hungry for conflict and scandal that we'll create it out of thin air when it doesn't actually exist. Two people being at the same party becomes a betrayal. Following someone on social media becomes a statement. Not attending an event becomes avoiding someone. We assign meaning and intention to every action, even when the simplest explanation is usually the correct one. Sometimes people just go to parties because they want to celebrate and have fun, not because they're making some grand statement about their relationships. Moving forward, this situation is probably going to keep coming up in various forms. As long as all four of these people remain successful and active in the music industry, they're going to end up at the same events sometimes. Award shows, music festivals, industry parties, charity galas, there are countless occasions where their paths might cross. The question is whether the internet will continue to treat each encounter as dramatic news, or whether people will eventually accept that this is just normal life for people who work in the same field. Hopefully, with time, the novelty will wear off and people will stop analyzing every little interaction. In conclusion, the Benny Blanco and Justin Bieber after-party situation is a perfect example of how the internet can take something completely innocuous and turn it into a massive drama. Two successful people attended the same industry event, probably didn't even interact with each other, and somehow that became a scandal worthy of endless discussion and debate. It's a reminder to all of us to take a step back sometimes and question whether the drama we're engaging with is actually based in reality or if it's just our own projections and assumptions. These are real people with real feelings, and they deserve the space to live their lives without every single move being scrutinized and judged. So while it's fun to discuss celebrity gossip and stay up to date on the latest news, let's try to do it with a little more perspective and a little less judgment. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the situation, make sure you subscribe for more celebrity news and pop culture commentary.